All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at some demos now. First up, we're going to use this demo site, which has a bunch of recipes on it. And this is part of the Umami profile that comes with Drupal core. And this might be familiar to some of you. One thing that I did add was a couple of recipes that are a little more inspired by Australia. So I added a pavlova and a barramundi recipe, but all the others are out of the box from Drupal core. So first off, let's take a look at search. Traditionally, if you set up Drupal search, especially with the core configuration, then you get keyword search. And that's great if someone, knows what they're looking for and they want something that's got chocolate in it and it can find those things. But if you want a fuzzier search, then it does require more configuration in more special technology in order to do that. But this is a good place where AI can come in to help out. So if we were to search for Australia-inspired recipes with traditional search, we'll see that we don't get any results. It's not really a surprise. But if we use this chatbot that we have here that's using AI search behind the scenes, then we could do the same thing where we look for Australia-inspired recipes. And it should give us better results. Hopefully, it's going to give the pavlova and the barramundi recipes that I've added to the system. So let's see what it does. Yep, did. So those two recipes came up, and we've got the title and a little description for each one, and that's great. So behind the scenes, what's happening is there are these AI assistants and there's this recipe finder, and it has instructions for the AI to use when it's trying to find search results. So one of the things that we see here is, while these are good results, it would be nice if these were linked off to their particular recipe page so we have better UX. So why don't we do that now? So at the moment, it says when showing a recipe, only show the title, the recipe title, and a one-line summary, which it's doing. So let's also add a recipe title linked to the recipe page. All right, and we're going to save that and clear the cache. And we're also going to clear the history of the chatbot. So anytime you change configuration, you're going to need to make sure you clear all your caches. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the cache here, or history here as well. And let's try again and see if we get better results. So hopefully we're going to see the link show up as well. Yep, sure enough, it did provide the same results, but in this case, we can actually go off to the page that we're looking for here, and that's super helpful and much better UX. So I've got this barramundi, and I've got this pavlova. So that just shows a simple way that you can integrate Drupal AI search into your website. You could also configure things so that your main search field is also using Drupal search, but chatbots are also super helpful. So next up, let's take a look at something called content suggestions. So if I edit this pavlova recipe, we have it here, and we have a number of different suggestions on the side that we can use, suggestions and tools. So we have uh, suggest taxonomy terms, where I can, have some taxonomy terms here. I could have it suggest ones like the tags. I could have it suggest another title. Maybe we want something a little bit more descriptive. Could also alter the tone of certain sections. Here you could choose the sections and decide maybe you want to make the directions, explain it like I'm five, for example. Evaluate the readability level, and then you can adjust it based on that if you wanted to simplify it, and also summarizing text. So let's go ahead and try a couple of these. let's go ahead and score the readability overall and see what it says. All right, so 81.5, it says that it's suitable for adults and older children. So that might be good enough for your audience, or you might need to update the text a little bit. And then for summarizing text, if we have, maybe we've decided we want to change this here, we could go ahead and summarize it. And we could use all of them, or we could take out some of them if we want and summarize and see what it says. Okay, so it has a summary here. Let's just compare it to what we have. Okay, that's definitely a lot more information, and maybe that's useful. And behind the scenes, what happens is you can configure each one of these suggestions on the settings page. And so, like I said, there's taxonomy, the titles, the tone, readability, and we were doing this summarized text last. So it's saying create a formal and detailed summary of the following text in less than 40 words. Okay, well, maybe we decided that was a little too formal and a little too detailed. So we could also just update this. Create an SEO friendly and human friendly summary in less than, I don't know, maybe we'll make it a little shorter, 30 words. We can save that. And then we're going to need to clear our caches again. Make sure that gets picked up. Then we'll reload this page, make sure all the caches have cleared out. And let's go ahead and try summarizing that text again and see what it looks like. All right, let's see what it. So yeah, it's a little shorter and definitely feels a little less formal than the previous one. So that's the way that you can tune these suggestions when we're doing summaries and other suggestions. So that gives you a nice handy tool on the sidebar that helps you experiment with different wording and also, tagging and things like that. Okay, that's it for these two demos, and we'll see you soon.